online, WSGW.com.
A mostly sunny good morning to you. I hope your day is going well for you, wherever you might be. It's a beauty out there right now. Kind of nice to see, especially after what we went through on Saturday, and then once again, late last night and early this morning. Quite a bit of precipitation all around the state, and in particular here in the Great Lakes Bay area, where over the last 24 hours, we picked up right around 1/4 of an inch. But on Friday night, Saturday night, by the time everything wrapped up, we were looking at a whole lot of precipitation all around the state. We were seeing anywhere from 1/2 inch to 1.25 inches. So obviously, if you're driving out in the side roads, the ditches, they're kind of filling up a little bit. The tile are running, which is a very good sign. That means all that money you stuck into the tile is running out there, and it will continue to be operating over the next few days, because we're not really looking at a long string of dry days. We're going to be talking about that in just a second. Currently, we are at 37 degrees at the airport, 37 here at Radio Center. Downtown Midland is at 38. Downtown Bay City coming in at 37. A north breeze, which is a little bit different. We were looking at west wind, east wind, northwest wind, and then things kind of settled out of the north because of a high pressure system over the Dakotas, the Mindak area. And that high is going to be dropping down into the central part of the continental United States over the next couple of days to keep a lot of the systems away from us, but it'll only last just so long. Barometer right now is rising, 30.07. We do have a little bit of a wind chill out there. Hot spot in the state. Really, we don't have too many cities that are warmer than what we are. If they are, they're down south, Battle Creek, Benton Harbor, Kalamazoo, South Haven, Muskegon, all looking at 40s, 41, 42, 43 degrees. Detroit, a little bit cooler at 39, but they're going to be moving up. By the time we're all said and done around these parts, we'll probably peak out at right around 44, 45 degrees, again, because of that high pressure system pushing the cooler air down. Northern Michigan, the Upper Peninsula, they're going to have to contend with quite a few 30s as we go through the remainder of the day. Sun has finally broken through for practically all of our locations, which is looking pretty good considering what we had a little bit earlier this morning. And again, the system that affected our weather on Saturday really created all sorts of havoc for regions to the south and the southwest of Michigan. I'm sure if any of you have listened to any of the newscasts, watched any early morning television, you did see the tornadic damage that occurred in Mississippi. It also occurred in Arkansas, Louisiana, into northern sections of Alabama. That activity is moving into Georgia. Eventually, it's going to be breaking up over the Carolinas. But these systems, as they've been crossing the United States, have been widespread. And that's what we're going to be looking at toward the tail end of the work week. These low pressure systems are moving into the central part of the country and then moving through the Great Lakes Bay area, the Great Lakes in general, and winding up out east. And the trailing cold front with some really cold air behind is the reason why we're seeing all of the severe weather that we have been watching and that we're going to be forecasting as we get into the tail end of the work week. The latest numbers that we were able to see is 27 dead over Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. Over 3 days, we were looking at more than 25 tornadoes. And the one in particular that's drawing a lot of attention is the one that was a mile wide and had wind gusts of over 175 miles per hour, just obliterating whatever it affected as it moved through. And it stayed on the ground over a rather long period of time. What we're going to be watching, first of all, and we alluded to you, high pressure over the Dakotas right now. That high is going to be dropping down into eastern Kansas and then sliding through southern Indiana by tomorrow night. And then the high will be a lot closer to the Atlantic shore as we move into the second half of the work week. What that's going to do is usher in a low pressure system, which right now is moving into the California coast. That low is going to be generating somewhere between 3 to 5 inches of rain over the next day and a half or so in California. Southern California, not quite as much, but the central and northern portions of that state will once again have flooding, heavy downpours, a lot of thunder, lightning, all of those things. And then it's going to be moving in through Nevada, eventually into Colorado, and then moving into and around Kansas before it begins to slide up a cold front, which is going to come from a low pressure system crossing Canada. That will happen toward the tail end of the work week. So our forecast on, just to give you an idea, Thursday is for us to see a mostly sunny day with temperatures approaching 50 degrees. But then that system will affect our weather on Thursday night. We're going to have rain, a real good chance of rain. And the low temperature on Thursday night will only be about 42 degrees, so quite a bit above average. Then on Friday, some locations in the state of Michigan are going to be looking at 60 degrees for a high on Friday. Quite a bit of rain. And again, south of Michigan, right now it looks as though as we move into Friday, we are going to see a line of potential tornadic activity ranging all the way from northern sections of Illinois all the way down to the Gulf Coast in Texas. That line is going to be moving almost right straight east. So what is the possibility of us seeing some severe weather like this as we move into Friday? There is a possibility. So we're just going to have to keep our eye on it as we move through the work week to get a little bit better bead on what that low pressure system is going to be doing. But it is going to be drafting a lot of Gulf air, and behind that front, some bitter cold air, because the long range outlook to take us once we move into April Fool's Day through the 9th is for our temperatures here to be below average, above average as far as the moisture is concerned. We're going to be watching again that off to the west of us, they are going to be much below normal when it comes to temperatures. And that cold air is going to filter all the way down into and through Colorado, a good section of Kansas, and into at least Oklahoma, if not a little bit further south. So that's why we're really concerned about severe weather and how quickly that system will be moving through. That obviously is going to be a big factor for us when it comes to Friday and the potential of seeing any severe weather. So let's talk about today. Sun, 44, mostly clear skies tonight, 28. Sun will set this evening at 7:57, rise tomorrow morning at 7:26. And during the day tomorrow, sunshine, 48 degrees. At least that's what we're looking at right now, possibly 50. Clouds will be moving in overnight on Tuesday night, and then on with a low of 30. Then on Wednesday, we're going to have cloudy skies. I think there is going to be the chance of seeing some rain and some snow mix early Wednesday morning, but we're not expecting a lot of precipitation out of that system. 38 for a high on Wednesday, 21 for a low on Wednesday night. Then on Thursday, as we said, sun, clouds moving in, close to 50 degrees on Thursday, mostly cloudy, and after midnight, a real good chance of rain on Thursday night with a low of 40. Normal for this time of the year is 47 in the afternoon, 29 at night. The record high in this state, 79, set back in 1945. The record low, 8, set in 1965. A year ago, it was cold. 28 was our high, 19 was our low. We did have a trace of snow a year ago today. So far, what are we looking at? Well above average and well above last year when it comes to precipitation in the month of March. The record amount of snowfall On this date in March was 7.5 inches of snow. That was way back in 1928. More on the weather as we go through the broadcast. Gary Kaufman standing by. We'll take a look at the markets in a moment. But before we do that, we want to remind you the weather forecast brought to you by the folks at Nutrien Ag Solutions.
Nutrien Ag Solutions has the local expertise to recommend the corn, soybean, and other seed products that are the best fit for your field. Plus, unparalleled agronomic support with products and services to unlock yield potential and improve crop performance from planting to harvest. Ask about our financing options to help you get more from every acre and lead the field. Visit your local Nutrien Ag Solutions branch or go to nutrienagsolutions.com.
They say there's a secret to growing a great crop. At Nutrien Ag Solutions, they beg to differ. It all starts with a strong foundation, and when it comes to fertilizer, there's no question that Titan XE drives dry fertilizer performance. They've been unlocking the potential in every prill of dry fertilizer with biocatalyst technology for over a decade. Visit lpi.ag/Titan or contact your Nutrien Ag Solutions crop consultant to drive your crop's potential today. Along with me right now, Gary Kaufman at Star of the West. Gary, good morning. I hope you had a nice weekend.
Good morning, Terry. Yes, I sure did, and hopefully you did as well.
Yep, we sure did. I'm paying for all the work that I did yesterday.
You can feel those muscles you haven't used in a while.
Oh man, can I ever? But you better work myself back into shape because I got a funny feeling here. Yep. The work that we get done outside, it's going to have to be fast and furious because Mother Nature just is having a hard time helping us out here.
Yeah, even though it says spring on the calendar, some days it just doesn't feel like it or look like it. So
no, at least at this time of the year, if it's going to snow, it doesn't last very long, does it?
It sure doesn't.
So over the weekend, my guess is we started off kind of an interesting day because last week we actually finished a little positive on a couple of markets that had been taking it in the chin for a while.
Yeah, for sure, Terry. Just looking, we finished fairly strong, especially in the wheat arena. We were up 27 last Friday and up 11 on the corn and 9 on the beans. If we took, the week in the whole, we were down 22 cents for the week on wheat, and then corn was actually up 9 last week, and beans took the biggest hit last week, of course, being down 48 for the week. But, again, this morning, we again, after the fund sold the soybeans off most of last week, commercials and whatnot, we were up Friday, and we're up. Actually, corn finally ticked to the positive here, so we're up got positives across the board here to start the new week with, and the last week of March here already, Terry, for sure. So,
isn't that something? Well, again, all eyes, I have to assume, are looking at Friday.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, we got the stocks and acreage report. The quarterly grain stocks, of course. It's going to give us a clearer picture of what we've been using the last quarter here, and of course, the much anticipated acreage report is as the corn soybean acreage guesstimates for the most part are all in, and the ranges, we're looking at the average from what I've been reading, Terry, about 90.3 million acres of corn and about 88.38 million acres of soybeans on our overall average. So I guess if, as we look at these averages, if corn comes in below 88 million acres, that's going to be considered bullish. If it comes in over 91 million acres, it's going to be considered bearish. And on the beans, if we come in less than 87 million acres, it's going to be bullish. And if we're over 90 million acres, it'll probably be viewed as bearish. So I guess we'll see.
I guess we will.
But currently right now, Terry, we actually got wheat up about a dime right now. That puts the white at 6.54 and the red at 6.04. Cash corn, let's call it up a penny at 5.89. Cash soybeans are up 8 at 13.66, and we look over at new crop on wheat. We're up a dime there as well at 6.85 on the white, 6.35 on the red. New crop corn is actually up about 7 cents right now at 5.07, and new crop beans, Terry, up 16 right now at 12.24.
Have you noticed the wheat starting to green up just a little bit in the backyard?
Maybe a tinge. Yep. I know. I know the guys over in Richville there, Terry. I think we're looking at doing some top dressing here. If the field's going to dry out enough, I know they're probably searching some areas as we speak on early morning probably runs when the ground's a little firmer where they can get on and get some of that first top dressing done for sure. So.
Yeah, I know south of us, talked to a gentleman over the weekend from Indiana, and he was a little concerned about how cold it might get this week. And I told him, I said, well, down there, I don't think you're going to have to worry. I mean, we're going to be looking at 28 tonight, 30 tomorrow, 21 on Wednesday night. But then temperatures are really going to begin to warm up. So that's for us here. So my guess is that wheat down there is well on its way.
Yeah, I would say there's no concerns down there for sure. I would agree. So
you take care. Have a great day.
I will. You do the same. Thanks, Terry.
You bet. Gary Kaufman over at Star of the West. What's going on as far as our markets are concerned? Well, Gary alluded to it. We are looking at some positives, and corn finally did turn to the positive over in Chicago. The July contract right now is up a little bit better than a penny, probably about 1.25. That would make it 6.24 1/4. The soybeans on the July contract are now up 6.5 or 7.5. That would make it 14.14. July wheat is currently up 8.25. That's at 7.08 1/4. And the crude oil right now, the May contract is up $1.71.5. That is currently at 70.97.5. Market report brought to you by the folks at Thumb Bank, serving the needs of agriculture for well over 125 years. They've got 2 locations in Bay City, also Cassidy, Caseville, Pigeon, Bad Axe, and Marlette. Thumb Bank, where relationships are built on trust. And by the folks at Schaefer and Beerline. If you're ready to upgrade a new Ram truck for your family farm, there you go right now. 15, 25, and 3500s are available at Schaefer and Beerline, the Great Lakes Bay Area's certified ag dealer, where you get more than just a brand new Ram truck. Check them out and ask what is so significant about being a certified ag dealer and the benefits that you get. You'll get them from Schaefer and Beerline. Buying with confidence from them. Folks have been doing it since 1852, where family and service sells cars. Jerry Samolsky joining me right now. Good morning. How you doing, Jerry?
Great, Terry. These temperatures, these lows at night, you're right. After those go away, we're going to start seeing that grass green up, and away we go. Buds will start breaking. I'm seeing some maple trees that are just getting ready to flower. And yes, Terry, maple trees flower. If they didn't flower, they wouldn't have those helicopters that everyone enjoys.
Is that where they come from?
That's where they come from. That is the fruit of a maple tree.
And I also noticed lilacs. The buds are starting to swell there.
They sure are, Terry. So everything's just getting ready to pop. If we can get this heat coming up, the grass will start turning green. And if we can, now is when we want to get out and edge those lawns and beds early on so that we can get some shading and some growth going on before the crabgrass gets a chance to start. Because crabgrass really likes right next to the concrete, and it gets hotter because it's next to the concrete. You open it up when you edge, and then you create a greater environment for that crabgrass. So if you edge your lawn, your beds, and everything now, that'll start growing over and have a little bit more time to make that stark dirt go away, and then we'll have less opportunity for crabgrass growth.
Good point. Jerry, you have a great day. We'll talk to you again tomorrow, all right?
Real good, Terry.
You bet. Jerry Samolsky, Bay Landscaping and Garden Center in Essexville. Farm Service brought to you today by the folks at Steiner Tractor. New parts for old tractors made easy. Whether you've got an Alice Chalmers, a Case, a Cockshut, a Ford, an International, John Deere, Minneapolis, Moline. Remember those? The Massey Harris, the Massey Ferguson, Olivers. They've got those parts at the warehouse. They can take care of you, whatever you need. Steiner Tractor, 800-234-3280, or go to steinertractor.com. We say good morning to Eric Sawatsky over at Yo and Yo Accounting. I say good morning to Eric because you're a nice guy to talk to, but sometimes You talk about things that kind of bring it home to reality. And once again, today we're talking about income tax. You got a little bit of advice for us?
Yeah, Terry, today I want to talk briefly about trusts and the income taxes that a trust can pay. Especially, I mean, trusts are used for a lot of different things, sometimes to avoid estate taxes, sometimes just to direct where your assets are going to go when you pass away. A lot of good reasons for having a trust, but especially if you're in the process of designing a trust, working with an attorney, one thing to keep in mind is that if a trust is to pay tax on the income generated in that trust, whether it's irrevocable now or if it's a trust that becomes irrevocable when you die, trust income tax rates accelerate a lot faster than individuals. So for example, I guess, on the trust side, only $15,000 of income, you're already up to a 37% tax rate, whereas comparatively $15,000 of personal income, you're only at 10%. And you have to get up to almost $650,000 of personal income before you would pay that 37% tax rate. The same thing with capital gains. 15,000, you're already at the max rate in a trust, and you can have almost 500,000 of capital gains personally before you pay that rate. So it's something to really consider when you're talking with an attorney, when you're looking at setting up a trust and putting assets that generate income into that trust, that you really want to make sure that that's handled properly from a tax perspective, or you could really be surprised when those trusts start to generate income and you have to pay tax on it.
Yeah. Seems like there's always some surprises out there, isn't there, Eric?
Yeah, the tax code is full of surprises. Congress loves to put a lot of surprises in there for us.
And the unfortunate thing, a lot of cases, is you don't know what's in it until either it's too late, you got to fess up, or here you are and you probably could have done something else, but there you go. You're stuck with it.
Very true. I mean, that's what keeps us in business, to try and interpret and look ahead and avoid as many of those things as possible for our clients.
Very good. Eric, you take care. Have a great day, okay?
You too.
Eric Sawatsky from Yo and Yo Accounting. We'll be right back with more.
Star of the West Milling Company is hiring. Star of the West is looking for hardworking, self-motivated people to join the team for the 2023 spring season. A career opportunity open house is Thursday, April 6th at 4 p.m. at 3761 East Wademan Road in Rosebush. Star of the West is looking for yard help, CDL drivers, and custom application team members. You must be able to pass a DOT physical and drug screen. Certain qualifications are necessary. See Star of the West on April 6th from 4 till 7 p.m. in Rosebush for more information. Star of the West Milling is an equal opportunity employer.
A lot of folks still going into the grocery store because you got to eat. And guess what? Grocery prices continue to climb. The rate in January, as far as food at home prices, went up about 11.3%. February, hallelujah, they went down. Yeah, they went down from 11.3 in January to 10.2%. And right now, the prognosticators are indicating to us that the food at home prices at the grocery store is not really going to drop all that much from the February 10.2 annual rate. Egg prices, they've gone down. In January, they were 8.5% increase. In February, it was 6.7%. They say that the egg prices are gradually working their way down. But again, you take a look at the grocery store, maybe you can find a deal somewhere, but overall, egg prices have not gone down all that much, and they're holding pretty strong right now where they're at. Another item, but we're seeing a decrease in, is milk. Milk production here in Michigan is doing quite well. The milk industry has gotten a second wind over the last 10 to 15 years, and we're not looking at all that bad of a product right now. For the most part, milk prices are working their way down, and the last time a lot of folks had the opportunity to take a look at a milk price, it was quite a bit lower than what it is right now. So we'll just have to keep our eye on things, and hopefully that milk price will continue to drop ever so slowly back to pre-pandemic levels. We'll be back at 12:30 with an update, so you stick around. But now we conclude our program with the playing of our national anthem.
From the Premier Kitchen and Bath Gallery Studios, WSGW, Saginaw.
This is CBS News on the Hour, presented by Indeed.com.
I'm Steve Kathan. Mass protests over judicial reforms rock Israel. Demonstrations have affected flights, shopping malls, and schools.
We're here to fight for our democracy, take down this corrupt government.
I'm Cammie McCormick. The Israeli embassy in the U.S. is among those closing its doors. A tweet says it will be closed until further notice and no consular services will be provided. These workers join those in Israel on strike, including those at Israel's major airports, in a growing work stoppage that will have international implications.
I'm Stephen Portnoy. The White House now urges a compromise as soon as possible, saying democratic values must remain a hallmark of the U.S.-Israel relationship, and that changes to any democratic system should be pursued with the broadest possible base of popular support.
An ally of Prime Minister Netanyahu now says the judicial overhaul has been delayed until the next parliament session next month. There are reports of an apparent shooting at a Christian school in Nashville, Tennessee. Today, police call it an active aggressor. Multiple victims. No other details available. The FEMA chief says it's going to take years to recover from the deadly tornado destruction in western Mississippi. Deanne Criswell on CBS Mornings.
Making sure that these small businesses get back up and running, that we get the infrastructure back up and operational so people don't leave and they do stay, and we give them that safe place that they can live while we're rebuilding the businesses.
A New York City grand jury is said to be resuming its work on the hush money case that has inflamed supporters of former President Trump. Anne-Marie McAvoy is a former federal prosecutor.
We don't know exactly what is going on. There could be other charges that they're looking at. It might not just be the ones that are being talked about right now.
A police tactical unit is under fire. This time, as CBS's Vicki Barker tells us, it's a story from Mississippi.
The Justice Department is reportedly investigating several deputies from the Rankin County Sheriff's Department over at least 4 violent encounters with Mississippi black men that left 2 dead and another with lasting injuries. In 2 cases, a gun was allegedly shoved into the mouth of a suspect. In one of those cases, the gun went off, leaving the man with lasting wounds that required parts of his tongue to be sewn back together. No comment from Rankin County Police.
In a new video, Massachusetts Democratic Senator Elizabeth Warren says she's running for a 3rd term.
I first ran for the Senate because I saw how the system is rigged for the rich and the powerful and against everyone else. I'm running for